Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle podcast with your host, Emmitt Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmittmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle podcast. This is your host, Emmitt Muckles. You can find the podcast on the Billionaire Lifestyle LLC. You can also find it at emmittmuckles.com and in iTunes and Stitcher. That's all about that. Well, anyway, today I don't have any guests. I just want to sit down and talk with everybody and share some things with you, that is so pertinent to our life, which is our finances. When we were in school, they did not give us a financial literacy course. There were courses about home economics, about, shopping and this, that, and the other, but they really didn't give us an education as to when we acquire money and resources, what to do with them other than spend them. And most of that education we got just by watching our environment, watching our parents, watching our friends, and, just doing what most humans do. But we are at a time where most of us, or quite a few, will come into a chunk of change, some money. And what better thing to do with that is to start investing in yourself. So one of the things you have to do, even if you get some money, if you're not versed in how to manage that money, it will quickly dissipate. So there is an exercise that I want to pose because I went through it myself. Some years ago, I was having some issues where I was making decent money, but the money just kind of flowed out of my life as fast as it came in. Or I would keep it for a time. I was never destitute, but it just disappeared. And part of that was credit cards and buying things before I had the resources to actually own them, which means buying on credit, revolving loans and things like of that nature. And we are not really taught about credit, finances, and especially as how to, conduct yourself as an adult. But one of the things that most businesses have to, or successful businesses have to adhere to, is they have to have some kind of money management. And this is really simple. This is your money inventory, your budget 101. So before you get down to writing a budget, you have to be able to change your mindset. And to change your mindset, what you typically have to do is understand what's coming in, what's going out, and where, why, when, how, what, that whole spiel. One of those things that it entails is finding out exactly where your income sources are and finding out where your other streams are going. Here's what you have to do. Let's start from the beginning. So what you should do is basically grab a piece of paper. And in case you didn't hear, that was my wife in the background. Grab a piece of paper and I want you to make 3 columns. Now, in the first column, it's going to be all. This is every penny you spend money on for 3 months. And the reason I pick 3 months is because it gives you a good idea where your funds are going and not just bills. So particularly you want to list your bills. That's first and foremost, and then start to think about what you spend money on daily, weekly, monthly, outside of your bills. So you're going to write down everything. Start with your bills. Start with your rent, mortgage, cable bill, phone bill, credit cards, utilities. Write it all down. Everything that goes out, write it all down. Then I want you to make 2 other columns. So it's a total of 3. So you're going to have all, and then you're going to have a column that is for necessary and unnecessary. You may be wondering where I'm going with this, but it's kind of evident. So you've written down everything, all your bills. Now start to separate those into the 2 columns for necessary and unnecessary. So your necessary bills are food, shelter, transportation, and living. So the living things are going to be in one column, and then everything else, things that are really not dependent on your living, things that are comfort, they go into the unnecessary category. Now, I understand this. When I say unnecessary, you might say, I can't live without my Game of Thrones. I need my HBO or I need my cable. You'd be surprised at how much you can get, how much your mindset will change once you start to figure out your wants versus needs. And this is a way to find out where your money is going. So if you're kind of strapped at the end of the month, or you get a paycheck and it is gone within days and you have no residual, you have nothing to put in savings, this is where you start. So list out everything that you have as far as your bills and your expenses. Place them in categories of necessary and unnecessary. Now, here's where we're going to focus. We're going to focus on the unnecessary column. So there are things that you absolutely can't live without in your mind. And what I want you to do is to look at that column and start to say, like week by week or month by month, just say, I'm going to get rid of one of these. It could be a credit card that has a low limit. It could be your cable bill, because I did something very similar. I literally turned my cable off because I realized that a lot of quality content that I want to see is on the internet and streaming. So I still have internet, but I took off the cable channels because I found myself always flipping through channels, never landing on any particular one consistently. So I just took that away. And after a while, you just don't miss it. You don't miss it at all. You find yourself doing other things like reading or participating in your hobby, or, just living. And that is the whole key to it, is living. Now, what I want you guys to do is start to identify exactly what it is that you don't need and start to extract them from your life. Now, if you have bills that are necessary, unnecessary, what I mean by that is credit card. If you have credit card debt, this is a good way to start to pay them off. I always think about 24 months. 24 months, you can do a drastic change. 24 months, you can do you can make great changes in your life. Because most of us, we get to this point where I'm in debt, or I need to change something, but we see that time factor. We don't have a barometer to put the time factor in. So I use 24 months. 24 months is not a long time. It seems like it, but it's really not. Over the course of 24 months, your task is to totally whittle down the unnecessary items. Once you do that, what you're going to find that you have resources in the form of money that you didn't have before. It's also going to change your mindset with this particular exercise, in the fact that now you're going to start looking at life like, what do I really need versus what do I want? What's a luxury? What's a necessity? And I've gotten to that point myself. So now when I have income available to me, or get more income, I literally have nothing to do with some of it. So I put it away. So I just save it. And that was a journey for me. That was a journey of a couple of years where that mindset changed. And it came because I just got tired of not being able to do what I want to do. And it also changed my mindset into the fact that now I live according to experiences versus having things. One of the biggest things that really changed me around was when I got a divorce, or was going through a divorce, and I was in my house alone, and I'm still paying for it and hadn't used in eons. So, that was like a big wake-up call. I had to, figure out what I needed to do to get back on track. One of the things was I began to sell things in my home that I didn't use. If I hadn't touched it in 6 months to a year, or if I just sold it. Sometimes I sold it at a loss, but overall it helped me to bring down that debt that I had. But I'm digressing. I'm just telling you a little bit about the mindsets you can expect to gravitate towards as you go through this process. This is a really simple process. Please go to the blog, emmittmuckles.com, or the Billionaire Lifestyle LLC. Go to iTunes and Stitcher. Please leave me a comment. Just say, hey, Emmitt, I heard your podcast. It's as simple as that. Emmitt, I read your blog. Emmitt, I like it. I don't like it. I just want to be able to kind of interact with the public so that I can understand that we are connected, because we are connected. So this is Emmitt with the Billionaire Lifestyle. This is a quick and dirty podcast. And with that, go have the most awesome time. Till next time, love you all. Peace.